with OMG and Friends, where we talk about the things that you think about. I am your host, OMG, along with my co-host today,
Daydream.
We'd like to thank you for joining us, and we ask that you please join in on the conversation, where your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions help drive the conversation. Today our topic is actually cloning DNA, but I do want to preempt that just for a moment because I have to make a comment about Brett Kavanaugh and the distraction that all comes with that. I'm just disappointed in the fact that here we are again in the same situation that we were in years ago with Clarence Thomas and Anita Hill,
Right.
and nothing was done, and they brought him into and indoctrinated him into the highest court in the land, and he's there until he dies, okay?
Right.
So for the most part, here we are going through the same process again. You have three women. You had Ford, Ramirez, and Sweatstick, I think her name was, that gave information regarding Brett Kavanaugh during his college and high school days. And they just completely dismissed it, in my mind, because basically they're preparing to get ready to just swear him in.
Right. They just needed something official to say
That's
it's
it.
cool.
And I don't get this because it makes it seem as though you have a president who has minimized the Me Too campaign.
Oh,
He has insulted
absolutely.
people, and he also.
Oh, look how he mocked her.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm just appalled that we have somebody representing us that is so poor in courtesies and graciousness and even knowing cultures. He was dumb enough to say that he visited one time with the United States president of Virgin Islands. Well, that's you, dummy. You're the president of U.S. Virgin Islands. That's the United States. Just stupid stuff.
Well, come on. He didn't even know who the president of Puerto Rico was.
He's, and I just don't get this, especially following somebody as brilliant and as eloquent and as classy as Obama was. Now, argumentative to be, you can decide whether he did well or not.
Right.
Still, he represented the company
himself.
well, the country well, absolutely. But it makes me feel as though women having these types of infractions imposed upon them don't get taken seriously. And I also read somewhere where Trump and some of the other people are concerned now about the boys, what they're going to have to grow up into. What about the girls? We've been dealing with this.
Absolutely, nothing's been done for us. Nothing,
right. So now they're concerned about the boys.
Right. They've always dismissed females.
That's not, and
it's always been, our feelings don't matter. Oh, just go sit over there, be back there, and be pretty. Just go over there and be pretty.
Yeah.
Don't speak your mind. Don't think for yourself. Don't have an opinion.
And that's sad because women are way more than that now. Just being set over in a corner.
Absolutely, we're still being viewed the exact same way.
Yeah, I think that they're actually going to probably maybe this week. I think they're still waiting on some investigation or report from the FBI to determine probably nothing, to where they're still going to go ahead and swear this man in probably this week. So get ready for that, folks. Okay, today we're going to talk about cloning DNA. Now, let me give you a few things. The term cloning describes a number of different processes that can be used to produce genetically identical copies of a biological entity. The copied material, which has the same genetic makeup as the original, is referred to as a clone. Now, researchers have cloned a wide range of biological materials, including cells, genes, and tissues, and even entire organisms, such as a sheep. They have also since cloned pigs, cows, goats,
humans,
and humans. Pretty much, right?
Let's just throw that out.
That's how we feel, and the question becomes: do clones ever really occur naturally? Do you think?
I think yes, but not as often as what we're finding now.
Okay. Clones do occur naturally. It says basically in nature you have plants and single-cell organisms such as bacteria that produces genetically identical offspring through a process called asexual reproduction. And through the asexual reproduction, a new individual is created from a copy of a single cell that's totally different from the parent organism. And the nature does have natural clones, and they are twins. Correct. Identical twins are known as clones.
But those multi-pregnancies like that,
that's induced. I think
that should be a rarity. It shouldn't be as frequent as it is now.
And every woman over 50 who goes to get pregnant ends up having twins because of the
twins or triplets,
quadruplets, something like that. But twins and quadruple kids, I guess, would be considered, if that's within a natural realm, they're considered clones. And you have different types of cloning. You have actually the genetic cloning, which produces copies of genes and segments of your DNA. And then you have reproductive cloning, which produces copies of the whole animal, which is what I think they're doing now. Right. I do think they have a lady that's supposed to be 40 some years old that was one of the first clones, or so they said, 40 years ago. So if this was 40 years ago, that means they've cloned somebody 40 years before that.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty much what that means in my head.
For no one to have noticed.
For no one to have noticed, absolutely. So I think you can look her up on YouTube or something like that, or Google her. But anyway, she is one of the first, as they say, cloned humans. They claim they don't clone mammals just yet, but I have something here that's really interesting. It says, gene cloning is the most common type of cloning done by researchers at the National Human Genome Research Institute, NHGRI. Researchers have not cloned any mammals, and NHGRI does not clone humans. Well, then why is it called the National Human Genome Research Institute if you have not physically cloned any humans?
Or if you have no intent to clone.
To clone. See, it's little things like that that just doesn't make sense to me, that they'll put out there, or they'll make a mistake and put out there. But, again, I kind of want to, I've seen and read, and I don't know how much people believe in cloning, but I think it has existed for quite some time. And I do believe that it is quite prevalent in the Hollywood environment.
Oh, absolutely.
I do believe that, people are cloned. I do believe they're also engaging in MK Ultra and all these other things that come about as a result of that. Mm-hmm. And so, I think whenever somebody goes off to jail or something and comes back, or somebody goes off the grid for a minute, mm-hmm. and then when they come back they look totally different, is when they're saying, oh, they got a new attitude, they got a new haircut. No. It's a different person.
Absolutely. They have definitely been altered.
Absolutely. Mentally or something.
The real person is somewhere
gone.
Locked away and brain dead.
Yeah. Because I just don't believe that, if there's money to be made, the world is going to figure out how to get it, and you can work a clone endlessly, pretty much. And I believe they have them in the athletic arena as well. So I think anybody that's in a high-paying scale that's in the public's eye, I think, it's about the money. So we can create this and shelve you, if however you want to deal with it, right. Whatever it is, and then you are allowed to just make money hands over fist.
Right. Athletes, they are superhumans.
Absolutely, yeah.
Especially Olympians.
Yeah, and I remember sending you something the other day that, speaking of cloning, I'm not sure that, I know this may sound bizarre to people, because you have people who don't even think along these lines. They just think that whatever they're told is that's all it is.
Right. And they just take it for...
They just take it, and that's not what it is at all. You're getting a fraction of what's actually going on out there.
Right.
And so you have people like us, the host of All About You, who research these things for you and at least bring it to your attention. Now, it's not doomsday conspiracy or anything. It's just awakening you. There is a pineal gland. You need to get up people.
Read between the lines. Look past what you're being shown.
Yeah, they don't. They just take it at face value. They don't care. Or what's the end game?
Right. Ask why.
But again,
why is it like this? Why is it like that?
Yeah, but why people don't want to know. You have to be inquisitive
Ignorance
to want
is
to know.
bliss for some people, and I can't live like that.
I can't either.
I can't just brush something off and say, oh, I'm just gonna ignore it and act like it was nothing. No, if it's not right, if it doesn't fit,
and it doesn't feel right in my spirit, then usually there's something to it.
There's something to it, and I just can't ignore things like that.
But I think at this point, do we have to go to break? Okay, I guess we'll have to go to break. We'll be right back. Yeah, they just take it. I just think all the Kavanaugh should be distractions.
Absolutely.
Share your opinion by calling 713-789-0096. Stay tuned. Listening to the
headaches. I have sinus. Oh. But I already took meds for it, so
okay, that's it. You're waiting on it.
It's just drying out.
Yeah. You have one of those medicines? I hear people talk about those little pots, or something like that.
Neti pots for the sinus? No. Put it on low. It'll be fine.
Guys, about 30 seconds.
And we are back. You're listening to All About You with OMG and Friends, and I am OMG, and we are here with my co-host,
Daydream.
We're talking about actually cloning DNA, and so as we mentioned earlier that there are 3 different types of cloning, and genetic and reproductive and therapeutic, if I'm not mistaken. Right. And genes, as you know, is the one that you're dealing with stem cells and tissues and almost replacing humans with all these cloning centers. They actually have cloning centers, you know, so if people don't think this is real, I mean, I'm not making this up, and, you know, it does exist.
Right.
What were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say, yes, absolutely. You know, when celebrities, like you said, when celebrities sit there and go away and they're in, you know, rehabilitation,
right.
You know, they're in for exhaustion. You know, no, they're getting rebooted, rewired.
Absolutely, get rewired to come back and heal, you know. But, you know, you see it quite often, but I think we actually believe that there's no other race out there, no other humanoid, you know, type thing, or robotoid, or whatever it is. All these things exist. But praise God, they decided to keep the, as I mentioned, robotoid, I thought about the robots.
Yes, they banned it.
They decided to ban that.
No try, no buy.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, this is crazy that we were even considering that. You know, I think I mentioned to you that they halted all of the construction because they didn't have all the permits, or at least that's what they were told.
Right, that's what they were told.
In order to be able to research.
Right, but Turner had already said that he told his people, find any and everything that you can to halt it.
And he was an excellent lawyer when he practiced years ago at Fulbright and Jaworski, so he has you know, a sharp mind. So I knew they would come up with something, and so they did.
Right.
So I don't know what city it's going to, but won't be here.
His way of politicking actually paid off for us.
Absolutely, yeah. You know,
it actually worked to our advantage.
And plus he's concerned. He grew up in Houston, so
I think he was only concerned because the media made him concerned.
You think?
I think. Come on.
Well, you know, sometimes. Well, you know, people do have their own positions that they take, but Sylvester is pretty even keel.
You know, well, it's elections are coming up.
Yeah,
so
it's true. Well, you gotta put yourself out there in that respect. So that was a major thing, you know.
Right. I mean, like I said, it worked to our advantage, so that's what counts.
Okay. Well then, hey.
So happy with that.
You guys should be happy about that, you know. But also, like I mentioned, guys, you need to be concerned because they have, in fact, cloned some animals that you guys are probably eating, which is beef and pork and
chicken. I mean, everything.
They've cloned just about all this. You guys are even eating, you know, some plastic foods. I don't know if people are aware of that.
Right, like 3D printed foods. Absolutely.
Yeah, rice. Some of the rice.
With preservatives, you know, that's what preservatives are.
Absolutely. And so these clones, guys, they don't have to, what is it, FDA do not have to label, the Food and Drug Administration do not have to label the food that you are buying. So when you buy beef, you're not sure if you're getting cloned beef or if you're getting, you know, real beef. So be aware of what you're eating and read the labels and just try to figure out what's going on in your world. But from there, I kind of wanted to cross over into us giving out our DNA information totally free. Not free, but I think Ancestry DNA.
Yeah, it's not free. You have to pay, you know, a slight fee, but it's really nothing, you know. For the excitement of knowing. For the excitement of knowing, you know, where I come from and you know, who are my people and are we really who we say we are?
And that's just their opinion. How do you know that's accurate?
Right. They can totally feed you a lie.
You know,
they just got all your information. They got everything that they needed.
And you have signed away your DNA. So they could.
And you have no rights to it. You don't know what they do to it. They don't destroy it.
They do not destroy it, and you have signed it over to them. So they can, in fact, clone you at some point.
Right, absolutely. Really quickly, shout out to those who have been checking in on our Facebook feed. My mom, my niece, and also my Uncle Ernie. Hey, shout out to my fiance. And also listener James Jones. Thank you all for tuning in. Please give us a call here at the studio, 713-789-0096. Share your thoughts and opinions with us. I mean, how do you feel about this, about what's going on? You know, first we had to deal with, you know, a robot sex brothel, and now, you know, we need to be made more aware of these cloning centers and
Because
who's really amongst us.
that is very true. And also we want to find out from you guys who've actually had, I'm sure a lot of you have had the Ancestry.com or the 23andMe and all this. I think it's 3 of them.
Right.
I'm
I've
sure
always
you
been
guys have
curious
done that.
about that, and I didn't stop to
I've been
think.
curious, but you know how my mind automatically
Right, see,
goes to the other side.
Right, and it wasn't until you brought that up that I honestly didn't even think
Most
about that
people
side of
don't.
it. I was just excited to know, hey, we could actually find out like what exactly,
Who I am,
yeah.
Where I come from. I just don't trust any of it. My experience has taught
Now
me
I
that
don't.
I just don't trust people. I just don't trust situations that people feed me, and I know if they bring something to me, such as Facebook and some of these other things, it's looking good on my part, like it's just for you, for friends and family, it's for you to stay connected. No, it serves a much deeper
Right,
purpose.
much more evil,
Sinister
purpose.
than what people think. And so, again, I'd like to hear from some of you guys that have possibly had your ancestry done. I did read a few in the on Google and stuff like that, but for the most part, most of the black people were sub-Saharan. It's the same standard,
Right.
and nothing extra, and most of them, had part Ghana, some Cameroon, and
Right.
they throw in a little bit of European and that
Uh-huh.
sort of thing. But I just don't trust. But they do say that Ancestry.com is the largest. It has the largest database.
Well, I think they were one of the first ones to come out, right?
They absolutely were.
Wide or more
They
widely
absolutely-
known.
Right. So they have more data information that they can possibly, I guess, put together, postulating who your family was.
Right.
So and again,
And
it
well,
could happen if people.
They're also doing that because they're trying to collect information about us.
That's the whole thing.
Get to know your enemy. We're the
That's
enemy
all
when it
this
comes
is about.
down
This
to
has
it.
nothing to do with you're wanting to know where you're from. You may
No,
go back to
absolutely.
Africa because for the most part we all have some ties there, okay? But
Right.
the larger companies are Ancestor DNA, Family Tree DNA, and 23andMe. Those are your larger ones. And it has also become an excellent tool, they say, to assist you with genealogical research. One is the ability to link your DNA test results to a family tree and have their computers automatically find names in common between your tree and those of your DNA matches.
Mhm.
How
Link-
awesome is that? Yeah, right.
Link and find keywords.
Create. How about that?
They're trying to get to know everything about you. Minority Report is real, people.
They know everything about us. I don't
The
think there's
movie
anything about-
Minority Report is real. The Matrix. Oh, excuse me.
all of them.
All of that is real, and people are understanding that. These are not just
They
movies.
think these are movies.
Go back knowing what you
When
know.
we're telling you.
Yes.
Go back and look at something.
Go
that
back
you
and watch
like.
everything and think about it.
Yeah, because I remember, as much as I like The Matrix, Mr. Anderson, there had to have been 1,000 of them when he was in that area getting ready to fight Neo.
Mhm.
And all these Mr. Andersons come around. That's telling you cloning right there. And again,
You
we
can't tell
look
the
at
difference. That's how far advanced they are. They're far more
they're
advanced
far more
than that.
advanced than what we know.
They're at least 50
50
years.
ahead of us. yeah,
Absolutely.
as far as technology, but we don't seem to question anything. And so as long as you don't question, then you don't get any answers, and then you get stuck.
Right, and that's why you have everything that's going on in your phones, because we're constantly with our head down and have no idea about what's going on around us. So they can do that. We've all been distracted.
Yeah, well, it's done by design, and so
Absolutely.
we fall into it. They make us pay for it first. They pimp us first. They make us pay for it,
Mhm.
like they did, $1,000 iPhones,
Absolutely.
that I don't think work that well.
$500 J's.
Yeah, I mean, this is crazy. I mean, come on, this is crazy. But again, I'm just curious. I do believe, and I've read somewhere. I'm not sure how true it is, but I can pretty much believe all of it, as I believe, in basically conspiracies no longer being theories, but actually being truth. They said that a lot of the presidents have been cloned as well.
No doubt.
Because I've read somewhere.
They've been programmed also. They're not actual humans. Those are subhumans. Would that be sub? Is it subhumans?
Yeah, it would be sub, and then they all have some sort of training.
Superhuman?
I mean, some sort of
brainwashing.
brainwashing.
Manchurian. In that the
Oh,
movie
they
Manchurian
gave us
Candidate.
all of this.
Come on,
Yeah,
watch it.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Yes.
I've seen Enemy of the State and some of the others that are like that, which are pretty much still the same thing.
Right,
You're watching
Manchurian.
everything.
Manchurian
Candidate.
Candidate. Oh,
Isn't
with
it
Denzel Washington.
I've
Absolutely.
heard of it, just not seen it.
I happened to catch it one day. I was channel surfing. That's how I ended up catching that one. And it absolutely getting brainwashed. You're headed out for a secret mission. You get brainwashed because you're not supposed to know and see everything that you're seeing, and how it affects everyone's life and the end result of that. But then what you really find out about how the world is run.
It's run totally different than what we think.
And this brainwashing with the chip and the president just being a puppet, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And look at when this movie was made, 1990 what?
Well,
come on.
It's no different than when we did a show on 1984, George
Right.
Orwell. Well, he predicted 50, 60 years before that we would be, surveillance, mass surveillance,
Mhm.
which is what
There wouldn't be a blind eye, a blind spot anywhere.
and
Big Brother is always watching.
that's true. And that was
These
like
red
in the
light
40s.
cameras, security cams outside. It's for your safety. No,
It's
this is
not
all
for
fear
you.
mongering. This is so they can keep an eye on us and be able to follow us. There's no hiding.
There isn't, and like I said, as best I can, I hold on to whatever I can.
Right.
But they have access to just about everything.
Right, even underground, you have to make sure you're far enough underground because even that they have thermal
There's
sensors.
a whole nother city. That's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother city underground and the whole thing. DC has a whole nother city under the White House. It's a whole nother thing. So I guess to some people this again may sound bizarre, but if you do some research and look for yourself, you'll see that there's a lot of veracity to what we are saying.
Right.
Now we may not be delivering it to you in the manner in which you want to hear it, but it does happen.
Right, we're not here to sugarcoat.
No, this is
to
this
get
is
you to
called
really
real-
open up your eyes and see
It's
what's
called
going
real
on.
talk, But I'm not sure. I have always been curious about the ancestral DNA, but immediately when I gave some thought to it, it was like, no, you're giving away. I have this thing about what's mine, my space,
Yeah.
my privacy, my
Yeah, absolutely.
zone.
Right.
And so I'm kind of protective of that. So I don't just give information. I'll fight to the end before I just give you information. And so, especially for me to sign off something, and naturally nobody reads the small print.
Oh no, not at all. You never
So
do.
I think you have to, from what I could see, you have to spit inside of a tube or something. Because
Okay.
I thought at first it was like
Like
going
the
inside
swab.
of your jaw.
Oh, that's what I assumed it was.
This is one where you spit inside of this little tube and they send it off, and it takes about 6 weeks. So I had seen one of the African Latino family, descent, and they had again some sub-Saharan and some mixtures in there, and again, it's just that. And a lot of people had a lot of Native American, Indian, that sort of thing, especially being Afro-Latino. But they all were required to, and this is with 23andMe and Ancestry.com.
Uh-huh.
So they did, in fact, spit into this whole thing and send all that off. But
Wow.
it just seems gross to even do that. But
Yeah, but I still want to know.
I know, I mean, the curiosity's there, and that's how they get you. It's the
Right.
marketing.
I'm falling for it. I fell for it.
I know, I fell for it for a moment, and then all of a sudden it kind of struck me. If they can do this, OMG, they can do that. So when you give them consent to do this,
Mhm.
you're also giving them consent to do that.
Right. And see, I'm also one of those people that, I'm an organ donor.
Are you?
Yeah. So when I'm gone, I don't need it. So if it can benefit someone else, then absolutely, why not?
How does your family feel about that?
My mom was just like, no, you can't do that. Why
I was-
would you? And I'm like, well, why not? And then at this point, I think I want to be cremated anyway. So,
What the heck? Even though
when I'm
people,
gone from this earth, I'm not going to need the body.
but even when people are actually, they pass and they have all of their organs, sometimes and somewhere in the embalming process, they're taking organs, even still.
Yeah, even without your knowledge.
Even
so at least
without your knowledge.
I know it's going to go to who it's supposed to go to.
So, but I think it's quite noble to donate an organ.
Right. So
I don't know that I
saying
can do it, but I think it's noble. I think it's
well,
great.
it's saying that, I also donate blood.
Okay, now I don't do that.
And I'm
But
doing it, because I want to help someone, they need it. I understand, if it's your family in a crisis
I get
situation,
that.
you're going to want to do whatever it is that you can.
Well, the Bible says
Well-
the soul is in the blood, so to me that's a little different.
Well, the assumption is it's going to where it's supposed to go, but how do we actually know that?
we don't. But then too, I don't think I
So
don't
they
know
could be
if
doing
I believe
anything.
that everybody's.
Right now, I have my doubts. You know, now and those plasma donation centers and everything else. Oh, we need your platelets. We need your plasma. It's to help burn victims, leukemia, these poor children, this frail person. You assume, you know, I assumed, okay, go for it.
You're trying to do good, so you assume that the world is good. That's
right.
where I was.
We know that people are so very sick and evil, and to be evil to prey upon, you know, the sick.
Absolutely.
The sick and the helpless. You don't want to think about that, but that could very well. Could very well be getting scammed.
All you can control is the part that you're doing and the reasons you're doing it. That's it. Because, you know, again, for religious reasons, I just don't believe that in giving blood. I just don't think that. Again, the Bible says that, you know, the soul is in the blood, and you recall when which one Adam killed Cain.
Oh, Cain and
Abel. Cain and Abel. Yeah. You remember he said his blood is calling me from the ground. You know, so your blood is very personal. It doesn't, you know, and I don't think that it's something that, it's like an organ. It doesn't always just fit into another body. It doesn't always, your body doesn't always accept it or receive it. So I do believe in helping people if the opportunity presents itself, but man is able to create, from technology-wise, they can create everything. Surely they can do blood. Because I believe that there are cures for cancer, there's cure for diabetes, all the stuff that ails us. They're a cure for
right. I think they just do it just so for research purposes.
Well, to benefit to benefit.
So they can, you know, okay, this is the antibody to this. This is the cure for that, and now we're going to hold it basically for ransom, because it's more profitable to have sick humans.
Absolutely, and that's the whole cycle. They feed you to get you sick, and then after you get sick, you're introduced to big pharma.
Right, because they're feeding these animals things that have cancer-causing traits in them. You know, from the feed, that grass-fed, organic, this and that, you honestly don't know if that's the truth. You just have to go on the assumption that that's the case, because you're not, unless you're actually going out there to the ranch,
you don't know,
and picking and watching from A to Z. You have no idea what's going on with your meat.
Well, genetically modified to me is just a fancy way to clone, you know, or build.
Juiced up, steroid up, pumped up. Come on, people. Church's chicken, that is not natural. That isn't, and there's a reason why it's so freaking greasy. Whenever you try to like warm it up, or you know, just the box of it's terrible. It's terrible.
I don't eat them. So I don't know.
We've seen way too many videos. Those are not made up videos. Those way too many videos of people who've actually been, you know, in the plants, chickens, you know, for poultry and for beef, and even for pork. I mean, how those poor animals are treated, and how they're force fed, and all the, you know, steroids and everything else that they're pumping into them to make them more productive, more profitable.
And that food, that whatever they've ingested goes
that's
on
coming straight to us because we're chewing on the meat.
You're chewing on it, yeah.
And I'm the first one. I love me some.
I am not carnivorous. I don't miss that chewing process with.
I'm one of those, but it's just like, wow, I've really been stopping to think, what am I putting in my body?
You need to stop and think.
Because that's not even real meat, that's cloned meat.
Yeah, and then I think you mentioned the other day that they're in the process of getting us to
back to cannibalism.
That's been around a long time.
Right, back to cannibalism. You know, they're making it a celebrity thing with, you know,
the royals and
with everyone, the royals, the Lady Gaga, the elite, everybody. Spirit, you know, President and Spirit Cookings, and participating in that, because, like, you know, we've talked about this before. The idea is that you gain strength through your enemies. So if you consume your enemies, then you're able to gain their power, their, you know, their strengths, and you get to know what, you know, the weaknesses are, so that way you can overpower, you know, overcome other enemies. So
it's all about power and money, and people who have power and money want more power and more money.
Right.
So it just gets, you know, in a vicious cycle. Wow. This is just too much. You know, guys, again, you need to just clearly just pay attention to what's going on. It's right in your face. It's not even hidden anymore. Just like conspiracies are no longer theories anymore.
Right.
They're clearly in your face, and there's a lot of truth to a lot of what we say and a lot that you're reading out there. And some of you already know this because they have started the cannibalism thing, I guess, a while back. I initially found out about a year ago, and I think we may have talked about it because they found some guy was visiting Nigeria, and he was served human meat, and it was quite expensive. You know, $500 or $600.
He purposely did that, or
no? The restaurant, you know, I guess he ordered something like, I guess he purposefully did, I don't know, but that particular restaurant served, and you can Google that as well. It was a restaurant in Nigeria, but they were serving human
So
flesh.
delicious.
And now I think they are growing human flesh in the lab, aren't they?
Yes. Biologists suggest growing human meat, quote unquote meat, in labs for consumption.
And there you are. Wow. You know, if I don't grow, you know, I think I prefer the old school days when people grew their own stuff. Because when I go pay $1.50
Go back to
for
basics.
an
Yeah, go back to
avocado,
farming.
is that really organic for $1.50 for an avocado?
No, I don't know.
Okay, I don't know.
You're not actually growing it
I'm
in your
not growing
backyard.
it, I don't know. And so I can either pay $1.50 for it, assuming that it's organic,
Right.
or I can pay 45 cents for it.
Right. That's why we need to do farmers markets. Really hit up your farmers markets.
Absolutely, and get what's in season.
You know, it's people, they're actually growing their own.
But then I question our soil after
You know,
harvest.
Yes, that's questionable, but at least, you know, it's not cloned food that you're supposed to have, and you're not grilling some pink slime that you're thinking is beef, you know, at the backyard barbecue. And,
Yeah,
you know, at least you know what it is.
I don't miss chewing it all. Not like that. Because I remember as a kid, it was like, it was overwhelming trying to
Oh no!
chew
See,
a
the
piece of
season's
beef.
changing now, and it's getting to be like, you know,
Turkey time.
menudo season, and
Menudo? Is
yes,
that a
and
stew?
tamales. It's tripe. It's tripe.
Okay, that's an ugly situation. I saw something like
It's
that.
so
I
delicious.
was watching something.
You're talking about the
It's-
chewing and the
I was
texture.
watching this
So,
show called Monster-in-Law with J-Lo
oh yes,
and Jane Fonda.
Mhm.
And so she served her some tripe and it looked awfully funny in the plate. That's the plate that she fell and hit her face in.
yeah.
But they said that it was a delicacy.
Yes, it's delicious. It works wonders on hangovers too.
It's a fish.
No,
What is it?
it's tripe,
What is tripe?
chitlins.
Oh, I didn't say that. Now I know what you're talking about. It's tripe. Now I know what you're talking about. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know you guys ate those.
Absolutely.
But y'all call it something different.
It's
chitlins.
tripas, menudo. It's delicious. That's what I call it. I won't eat tripas. I won't do that. People, you know, eat them in tacos and stuff. I can't do that. I'm not that kind
So
of
this is actually the lining that we're
Yes.
talking about. So I guess it's what we eat.
Yeah, as long as you know, wash it properly.
I remember as a
Outside, it
kid that
stinks.
smelled
Yeah,
bad. I
cook it
remember as a
outside.
kid I'd come home from school and the house smelled like boiled eggs or something. And I knew that was one of the
Man,
things
we always
that
knew it was
really,
gonna be something delicious though.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. I can't
Oh
wait.
my gosh, I remember that.
I can't
I'm
wait
recanting
to
that
walk into
smell.
my parents' house.
I'm
When the weather's
recanting that
cold
smell
enough.
as you say it. I remember walking in going, oh my gosh.
You know, but if you cook it
And going
outside,
outside.
and then just bring in the finished
They didn't do
product
that.
and you're
They
warm,
cooked
you know,
inside,
staying inside to
and I
warm, you know,
remember
staying
all that.
warm.
It's I'm from cold weather, so it was cold. I can't imagine. So you guys enjoy tripe, not me. Or chitterlings. I don't eat any of that stuff.
At least it's
Yeah.
not cloned.
But yeah, right? Well, we're not sure.
To my knowledge, I'm
You
gonna
know,
keep it that way.
I don't know exactly what we're going to do, but I'm wondering if any of you guys have actually had the Ancestry DNA test done. I kind of want to hear what your background is and was it accurate? Did it give you the information that you thought you were going to receive? Is your ancestry dated back to, you know, Africa? Is it dated back to, you know, Scotland? You know, you have different,
Right.
you know, people here, so just curious exactly where your ancestry lies. But I would venture to say that all of the genome for the DNA is African. Even if you're dealing with India, China, that's all Africa.
Oh yeah, that's where everything comes from.
That's right. And so Israel and all that's, they consider the Middle East, that's just East Africa. You know, they call it something, it's East Africa. They're calling it something else. You know, but I do think that pretty soon that they will be, isn't there someone who gets their dog cloned?
Yes.
Somebody was telling me
Which
about
celebrity is it? She, I don't know what 8th generation on her dog that she's had cloned. That's just so weird.
I think she's had it cloned several times, right?
Yeah, like the 8th generation. It's like the 8th time.
Why?
The edition, I guess, 8th edition of her dog. How weird is that? Like it's a Barbie. Come on.
See, again, people who have money just don't know what to want. That's just sick. It sounds like our president. You don't know exactly what to do, what to say. You just kind of go with the whole thing. Wow. I tell you, do you want to invite our
Yes,
guest?
so we do have an announcement to make. We have officially opened up our rotating chair. We do have a chair available for those who are interested in joining us here in the studio. You can give us a call, you can shoot us a text, shoot us an email at omg and friends@gmail.com. And you can also hit us up on our website at www.allaboutyouShow.info, and that's allaboutU.show. .show.info. And let us know what your schedule is available for. Let us know what it is that you want to talk about, and we're always open to suggestions. I mean, it is the All About You show for a reason. So we talk about what you think about. So if there's something that we're not tackling, that we're not opening up
like
for discussion, hey, let us know.
Come on in and discuss it with us.
Absolutely.
The best thing I can tell you. I don't know of many shows that will invite some of the audience to come in and get a feel for what it's like to be on the air, and hopefully disseminate information that's worthwhile, that's plausible, good information. So we will allow one of our audience to do that at whatever point. So like Daydream said, contact us at an email address and Facebook and all those good things. So am I going back to break again? He gives me that look. Guys, we've got to go to break, and I shall be right back, and as will Daydream.
You are listening to The Bridge. Share your opinion by calling 713-789-0096. Stay tuned.
Oh, awesome. Georgia placed the flower. Flower, you took that in the mountains.
They're making our food out of people. Next thing they'll be breeding us like cattle for food. You gotta tell them. You gotta tell them.
Promise, Tiger. I promise. I'll tell the exchange.
You tell everybody. Listen to me, Hatcher. You gotta tell them. Silent breed is people. We gotta stop them somehow.
And I'm Sharon Lockhart.
And together,
We are.
If you've ever seen the movie Soylent Green.
What was it called?
Soylent Green.
I've heard
from like
of
the
it.
70s.
Are we back here? Oh, yeah, I don't even watch a whole lot.
It's like a 70s movie.
Oh, girl, I was in college and trying to get out.
Soylent Green.
Yeah, but they're they have all these different computers and which one is FTV?
All right, about 10 seconds.
And we're back. We're talking about cloning DNA. And I was just looking over some more information from Family Tree DNA. And it said the main strength that this particular company has are its chromosome browsers, the availability of other types of DNA tests in addition to their autosomal family finder the group projects in their global customer base. And autosomal is pretty much any chromosome other than the sexual chromosome. So they will have the largest browser. And so that chromosome browser allows you to visualize where in your genome you match other people. And if you find two people who both match you in the same place, you can work with them to determine whether they are matched to one another, which would be evidence that you all inherited in one segment of DNA from a common ancestor. That just seems kind of broad and ambiguous.
Yeah,
to
but
me.
why do I need to go that deep and that far? Oh, hey, we're linked centuries back. I don't know the
How do
need
you
to do
refute
that.
that?
That's
How can
just
you say no.
Right. That's just a way for them to collect more information and get more of what they need. It's just another distraction. Oh, hey, look, it's cool. Get to know this, get to know that. Why would you even need to delve that far? Like, what purpose does it serve? Right, and it's it's going to help benefit sick babies and terminally ill patients, and it's healthy for you. Like the placenta eating, people are going back to eating the placenta of their children.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're saying it's such a great bonding experience. No, it's just another gateway to desensitize us to cannibalism. They're trying to bring that back. Human sacrifice rituals. It's all the same. It's just in how we're doing it. It's not stereotypical. It's not that type of ritual where you see them, around a ring of fire, a big old bonfire and things like that. It's in such subtle ways, and we practice it all the time. I was even informed that certain poses of yoga invite evil spirits. You're opening up, yes, you're opening up a whole other realm of evil invitations there. So I thought about some of the poses and how they look, and they had a point. I didn't have anything to refute that, so it's like, okay, but
that's interesting.
It makes my back feel better.
I know, right?
So it's like, okay, well, what other stretches can I do? But I guess holding the poses. But yeah, that invites a whole other realm.
I'm not shocked by that. I burn my white sage and smudge.
Oh yes, absolutely.
To keep things in perspective,
very natural,
very
herbal.
Yeah, because people bring spirits into your home and around you that attach to you, and again, in a clone situation, I think that's not godly.
Absolutely not.
So when you have something like that in your midst, and we don't know what's around us,
right? And there's I was looking up some in regards to cloning centers. A lot of those are used for ritual purposes.
Absolutely.
You got to keep it under wraps, so nobody's going to notice a clone. Like, they don't have family or any ties to anything. They don't even exist.
Well, I've seen a lot on Twitter from entertainers talking about their clones. Have you ever seen any of that on Twitter? I've seen several where they're saying that my clone is working right now.
I would assume Anne Heche is one of those people, because she's been pretty open about her
being cloned. Not
being cloned, just a
lot
of
B.O.B.
Just a lot of stuff that goes on.
There's another guy, some rapper, I guess.
Yeah,
B.O.B. Yeah, he was talking about cloning and surprised that he's still alive because this is what he says.
Oh wow!
Because he gave an in-depth commentary on cloning, and it does exist.
And you said this was on Twitter, huh?
No, this is on YouTube. The thing that B.O.B. did. Now on Twitter, you have all these stars that will comment on my clone's working the day I'm off. I'm doing whatever.
Right.
I mean, it's like engaging, and see, it's so
they're trying to make light of it.
It's so in your face until you don't think about it.
Right.
They're trying to make light of it. That's exactly right.
She's trying to make light of it. Trying to be facetious about it. So my clone. This no, they're being for real.
Yeah, and so when you hear it, you're not all caught off guard. You would have heard it before. It's
and
like
this
they do movies.
Absolutely.
So you can see it, so you know it's
and
there.
In movies, one movie in particular from 2005, The Island.
I don't remember that.
That's a movie. I never watched it, and I'm pretty sure now I know why, because it had to do with cloning.
And what year was this?
2005.
Okay.
It had to do with cloning, so I'm not big into sci-fi. Now I take more heed to it. Now I'm paying more attention, but it's more on the documentary end as opposed to entertainment.
Yeah.
But we need to pay attention to that, because it's right there in our face. They've been telling us what's going on and what everything looks like for years.
Wow. I mean, I just stop and think. I look on YouTube for a lot of things, but I know some of it you can take with a grain of salt, but some of it, there's a lot of veracity to it, and you can go from there, to research to see alternate ways to find similar information and pretty much cross-reference that, and it's pretty much coming up with the same thing.
Right.
So I think it's real. I think it's happening, and I think that again, right now, it's happening among the elites. We can't afford it.
No, absolutely
yeah,
not.
but I think I read somewhere they're in tubes or something, kind of like not tube, but kind of like glass, grown in glass sort of jars, almost not as babies anymore. You had some that used to early on.
Right.
I guess
Well,
you had to,
all the members. It's saying it mainly has to do with the members of the Illuminati, which of course, the G20 leaders and everybody else, but cloning centers because they're using it for their own sexual perversions, for their rituals, and also just, they want to stay young forever. Let's look at Madonna.
well, the Matrix said in one of their
Share.
trilogies. I don't know which one it was, but they said that they were liquefying the dead to feed the youth, to feed the babies. And that almost sounds,
Formula.
yeah.
They keep pumping formula and not breast milk.
Yes, it's just something that sticks in my head with that, because ultimately, with Matrix, your body has energy.
Right.
So their whole little theme is about turning humans into a battery.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much
Right, it's a developing body,
It's a
so they're gonna tweak it and make it adapt to what they're wanting.
wow.
That's
This is-
crazy.
this is really something here, and they also
Right.
all,
I was gonna say really quickly. It also states that the cloning part of the operation didn't actually begin until sometime after World War II.
and that's when.
Yeah, it says the political people started bringing movie stars and musicians there to hang around with them. They can control who remembers the cloning facility and who will remain oblivious, even though not remembering still damages you.
That's true.
And the Manchurian Candidate actually touches on the not remembering part and the damage and the consequences from that.
Speaking of not remembering, I remember having some dental surgery maybe a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not that person that can have a tooth pulled out and be awake. I have to be knocked all the way out.
Oh, okay.
It's surgery for me. So anyway, I had 2 teeth removed, and I was told later that in with the anesthesia, whatever it is they give you something so that you don't remember.
Yeah, that's what they do
And
for
I'm like,
women
what the
during
hell?
labor.
He's
That's what
like,
I understood.
Well, I had
Like that's part of what the
childbirth.
epidural is
I
try to
do
get
it.
your body, your nerves to not remember, to make you want to be okay with reproducing again, to not remember that kind of pain.
Yeah, but
Because all women say, that's the worst pain ever. If you can go through childbirth,
I had natural childbirth. I don't think it was all that. It was just had it, walked down the hall, fine. Baby wasn't drugged.
See,
I wasn't drugged.
well, my mom, I was easy peasy like that.
Right.
But my brother, her first was horrible, such a horrible natural birth,
Yeah.
And then with my sister, it was by a C-section.
So she's gone through all.
Yeah, all three.
All 3. Yeah.
All 3, but yeah, so it's.
I don't know. I just don't like a lot of medication, so I didn't bother to take that. But again, they give us all this stuff, and I know people think this is probably crazy as well, but there is an organization that exists, the Men in Black.
Right, that's real.
People don't think that that's real. They think that was just a Martin Lawrence and a Will Smith movie.
A cool movie.
That's real. The government actually has an agency that polices aliens. Believe that? Y'all hear that, people? Aliens.
They walk amongst
They
us.
walk among, absolutely, And so, again, we're just trying to make you aware. I mean, it's something that you can delve into and research more, or it's something that you can turn a blind eye to.
Right.
Keep living your life, and one day the lights will go out, and we'll do a show on that pretty soon when all the lights go out, because that's when stuff
It's
gets
not too
serious.
far off.
It's not that far off. I was reading something, the other day about end times, and one of the scriptures, I can't remember which one it was, but I did mark them in my Bible at work. But it said something about when the pig and the mouse come together, it'll be one of the signs of the end of the times.
Mm.
And shortly thereafter, and right after I saw that, read that from the Bible that was on the screen, scientists have come up with something from making the pig less something, but they've mixed the pig with the mouse.
Ugh.
I mean, that's happening now. So in other words, the Bible spoke of this,
Right.
and they said when man has acquired so much knowledge, which is where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you start getting so far out, then basically I think, you know, this could very well be end times, because you're seeing all the things you thought you'd never see. The flying car is out this week. Isn't it out this week? Did you
Oh
see
yeah,
that?
you were talking about that. We were discussing the Jetsons car.
Mhm. That's gonna be. I think it's out this week. Beautiful. Looks nice. You know, looks like. I'm surprised that they didn't get it out first with Uber, because Uber was working on one in Dallas that looked almost like a helicopter, but this one looked almost like a sports car with two little
Actually, like the
umbrellas.
Jetsons. Like
Yeah, it's straight Jetsons going 200 miles an hour. It can drive. It can fly up to 500 miles. And then they said that if you need to, you can interject and determine when to land. Well, hell, that means I'm not. Yeah, so that made me think that it's self-flying or something like self-driven cars.
Uh-huh.
Because they said if you wanted to, you could override and land when you want to. And it lands almost like a helicopter, you know, straight down.
Right. Okay.
And for whatever reasons, you may see something that this machine or something doesn't recognize, or some sort of sensor or whatever, but you can override that. But if that's the case, if I'm the one flying it, and now that's going to require navigation, I mean, aviation license, pretty much. How do you
Yes
do
and
all
no. I mean, it could. It's basically just self-landing. Maybe you just need to push a button.
this? Yeah, that may be true.
To
But,
make it happen. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what they're doing with cars: is a push start, push stop. You
well,
know,
that may very well be it. But first
you
thing I
can
thought
just
was, oh my
hit
gosh.
one little button and then just let go,
But
and then park itself
it
and
did a
do
nice
whatever it
little,
needs to.
Yeah, that very well be it, because it did a very nice little smooth set down, and it's here, and they're taking orders. So
Right.
if you have enough money, you can get yourself a flying car and be among the first to have that, because now you will not be able to have the sex brothel here.
Yeah, but it's a different kind of toy.
Absolutely.
Please keep in mind, people, if you ever travel abroad, or if you're out and about and you see someone that they think looks like you, or when people say, "Hey, I thought I saw you here
You
or
got a
there,"
twin. You've had,
they're really not lying. They probably did see you.
Yeah, right.
You just don't realize that you've been cloned.
have you seen some pictures of like Jay-Z and Matthew McConaughey and some of these other stars who looked like people from
Oh yeah, there's
1800s, 1800s?
right. I think
Johnny Depp,
there's
a
a
whole
local
bunch of 'em.
right. There's a local radio station. I think they have people submit pictures. Hey, if people say you look alike, you're a lookalike for a celebrity, a dead ringer, then send us the picture. They'll compare it, and there's a lot of people who are just
Look
almost
a lot.
spot on. Yeah, you can tell it's not, but
That's right.
it's kind of freaky, and that shouldn't happen that often.
No,
There
it
shouldn't
should
be that
not.
many people in the world who find their doppelganger.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it's time for us to say adieu.
Yes.
And
Thank you guys so much for joining us,
absolutely.
everyone who tuned in. Don't forget, you can continue the conversation on our Facebook page at OMG and Friends, on our Twitter account at All About You Show, and also on our website at www.allaboutyoushow.info, and that's all about you, the letter U. And tune in next Wednesday.
and we will see you on the radio. So when did your after work come on? When do you